Starting off Monday's breakfast, we found a new recipe for sourdough egg bites that we wanted to try. It's kind of like a mix between egg bites and muffins. The first thing I did was cook my bacon and then chop all of my ingredients. Put your eggs in a bowl and whisk them with a little bit of milk. And then the recipe called for bell peppers. I like to saute mine because I don't like biting into crunchy bell pepper. Get your pan ready by buttering it. Add your sourdough and all your toppings to a bowl and mix it all together. And then when that's done, add the eggs and fold it in until it's well combined. It should portion pretty evenly into a muffin pan. Then you just top it with cheese and pop it in the oven. Don't forget to save your bacon grease. One thing I will note is that I definitely did not butter these enough and they stuck pretty badly to the inside of the pan. So don't be shy, use a lot of butter. If you watch any of my videos, you'll know that I rarely ever measure anything. I just kind of wing it, with the exception of this soup. I made it one time and I winged it, and it was so good that I wrote down the measurements and I try to remember it every time. I like a lot of substance in my soup, so I do 4 bell peppers and 2 full onions, and I saute them right in the pot. After they've been going for a few minutes, I add garlic, black beans, 2 cans of Rotel, a can of tomato paste, and my seasonings, and I stir it all together, and then I add 8 cups of chicken broth. Let it simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then add a bunch of chopped cilantro, rotisserie chicken, and a squeeze of a lime. Top it with jack cheese, tortilla strips, cilantro, and avocado, and it is so good. One of my go-to backups is breakfast for dinner. Start by popping your tater tots in the oven. Take them out and season them. Shake them around and stick them back in for a couple more minutes. When they're ready, pop them in a bowl with some cheese and a runny egg. The next morning for breakfast, we had bacon Gruyere egg bites like the ones they make at Starbucks. So you start off by cooking your bacon in the oven, and then when it comes out, you chop it up into little pieces. Then you're going to add 8 eggs into a mixing bowl with some cottage cheese, some grated cheese, and some seasoning, and then blend it all together. Once it's well blended, add some bacon bits into your egg mold with a little bit of egg, a little more bacon, a little more egg, and then top it off with the leftover bacon. Put the lid on, and then you can lower it into the Instant Pot with a cup of cold water. Set the timer for 10 minutes and let it cook. Do a quick release of pressure when it's over and take them out. My kids like them with ketchup, but plain is good too. For lunch, we had meatball subs, and I realized way too late that I was out of marinara sauce, and so I just got 2 cans of tomato sauce, added some sauteed garlic and some Italian seasonings, and some more garlic powder, salt and pepper, and then I just let it simmer for about 10 minutes before adding my meatballs straight into the pan. This is my go-to when I really need a quick, easy dinner. While the meatballs are cooking, you toast your bread. When they're done, add some mozzarella, some meatballs, and some Parmesan for some yummy fast dinner. Wednesday's dinner started with a brand new loaf of fresh sourdough cut into slices and added to the griddle with some mozzarella, some pesto, and some sliced tomatoes. I meant to add balsamic glaze to the sandwiches, but I totally forgot. Feel free to add some lunch meat for an extra protein boost, and then cook. Next up is my best friend Jen's recipe for breakfast burritos, and it is delicious, except you need this exact salsa. So start by warming up your tortillas, and then you're going to make a runny egg. Put your cheese on your tortilla, and then top it off with your runny egg and this salsa, and it is so delicious. I know it sounds weird that it's just an egg and cheese, but it's good. Jen grills up a piece of ham to put in hers. I put bacon in Mark's and then plain in the rest of them. Another family favorite is French dip sandwiches. I start it right in the morning in the crock pot. So you're going to take your Montreal steak seasoning, rub it on both sides of your 3 to 4 pound chuck roast, and brown on all sides in a cast iron. Once you've browned it on all sides, take it over and put it in your crock pot, and then you're going to go get your broth ready. If you want the full recipe for this, feel free to subscribe to my weekly email meal plan, where I send out links to all the meals that I have made that week. You're going to cook your meat on high. Mine wasn't done by the time I wanted it to be done, so I popped it in the Instant Pot to finish it up for the last half hour. Once it's done, you shred your meat. I like to pick out all the fat because my children are picky, and let's be real, so am I. And then I put it all back in to soak in the juices for another 20 minutes or so. As usual, toast your bread, top it with some provolone cheese. I prefer Swiss, but the kids like provolone. And if you have horseradish too, it's delicious on there. And then you're going to strain the meat from your juices, put it in a little bowl on their plate, and then you can dip it. As a rule of thumb, we generally try to avoid eating food dyes. A few years ago, I really wanted to make green pancakes for the kids for St. Patrick's Day, but I didn't want to break our no food dye rule, so instead I looked up this recipe for spinach pancakes. Trust me, I know it sounds weird and disgusting, but it's really good. So you're gonna blend your spinach in with some buttermilk and then mix all your dry ingredients and then mix them all together. Mix it really, really well, and make sure when you're blending your spinach with your egg and your milk that you blend it very finely. If there are big chunks of spinach, it's gross. We've made that mistake before. And then you just cook them like regular pancakes, and the kids love them.